locker rooms. Matt.
Well, as you can imagine, the KU players were really pretty excited, loose after the game in the locker room. They kind of felt like maybe they sort of got away with one, a little bit of hard-fought victory moving on to the semifinals. K-State, there were actually a lot of tears, and just shows you how seriously these players from all the schools take the Big 12 tournament. And K-State certainly sad, but a lot left to look forward to as they await Selection Sunday on Sunday. We're going to hear now from one of the unsung heroes. You mentioned Mario Little. Had a big three-pointer in that second half, and of course the play late where he made the basket and got the foul. And then Jacob Pullen's going to talk about how he feels his Cats are playing. They won 6 straight, remember, before losing today, and as they regroup heading into Sunday.
Oh, you feel like you know what I'm saying, you owe it to your team, you know, like the guys sitting over there on the bench, the guys that, you know, scratch and fight during practice to make us better, you know, you feel like you just owe it to them, you can't let them down. It just feel good to, you know, to be able to help out.
Well, you know, nothing's ever easy, but at the same time, you know, our confidence should still be high because how well we've been playing in the month of February and going into this tournament. So we got to understand that, you know, we can't have days like this anymore because the next time we come out and don't have life and don't understand our assignments, you know, it could be our last game this season.
And for K-State, you're starting to think about seeding right now. How much will this loss hurt them in the NCAA tournament? And KU now has to place a Colorado team that thinks they're in, but really still wanting another victory to solidify that spot. So just like Oklahoma State, it's going to be a hungry Buffaloes team tomorrow that KU is going to have to face. Reporting live from downtown Kansas City at the Big 12 tournament, Matt Blanchette. JB, back to you.
All right, thank you.
Kansas City's Power and Light is rocking on Thursday night and will be again on Friday night, but with only one team representing the state of Kansas. That's the top seed, Kansas Jayhawks, which fought off an NCAA hungry Oklahoma State team. KU will now get another team which may have punched its ticket. That's the Colorado Buffaloes, which swept the season series 3 straight against Kansas State. Okay, we're here at the Kansas State watch party where the Wildcats are a number 5 seed and they're heading to Tucson, Arizona to take on Utah State. And we have with us the head coach of the Wildcats, Frank Martin. And Coach, describe your initial reaction when you see the 5 seed pop up and Utah State.
With the seed, I was happy because the committee obviously respected our kids and respected our schedule strength and this, you know, how we played at the end of the year. I think I was ecstatic about that. Every game in this tournament's hard. You know, the 5-12 game, if you go through in history, most of the upsets in the first round are in that 5-12 game, and that's because the 12 seeds are so good.
And then after losing to Colorado in the Big 12 tournament, what did you do with the guys to refocus and get ready here for the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, we gave them 2 days off. We were off the last 2 days.
It is another beautiful evening here in Tucson, Arizona as we get set for Kansas State taking on Wisconsin. And really in basketball, there's no way to measure passion, but one way maybe is by facial expressions on the sidelines. And we have 2 of the best in all of college basketball, Bo Ryan of the Badgers and Frank Martin of the Wildcats. So I had to ask, who has the better facial expressions?
Frank by far. I never seen Bo Ryan make a facial expression, but it got to be Frank. Most animated person I've ever met in my life.
You know what? I'm going to say yeah just because I'm with him I don't know Coach Martin, so I'm just going to say yeah, but that'll be another interesting battle, the facial expressions on the sideline tomorrow.
I never really seen Bo Ryan's, but I don't think anyone can beat Frank's facial expressions.
You know, I'm going to have to go as a wash. You know, from my standpoint, you know, I think he's a very intense guy and a heck of a coach, but I've never actually played for the other guy, so I can't really answer that for you.
I give it to Frank, but Bo Ryan got some funny ones too, from what I've seen on TV.
I would say they're both right up there. You know, they are definitely in tune with what's going on and expect the most out of their players, and I think, you know, that's how a coach should be.
And by the end of Saturday night, one of those coaches will probably be sporting a frown. Here in Tucson, Arizona with the Wildcats, Matt Blanchette, 13 News. In Saturday's Kansas State-Wisconsin matchup here in Tucson, Arizona, we will get to see 2 of the best point guards in America, Wisconsin's Jordan Taylor and Kansas State's very own Jacob Pullen. And it was a similar case a year ago as Pullen took on Jimmer Fredette, and we all know how that one turned out. There's a trip to the Sweet 16 and New Orleans at stake, Kansas State and Wisconsin tonight. But for now, from Tucson, Arizona, Matt Blanchette, 13 Sports. And Kansas State fans may breathe easy today. Frank Martin, he's not going to coach at Miami. Not that he ever was, per se, but now it's no longer an option. The Hurricanes filled their vacant basketball position by hiring George Mason's Jim Larinaga, who memorably led the Patriots to the Final Four in 2006. His contract details have not yet been announced, but he's expected to make in the $1.5 to $2 million range annually. So true story, I walked into a local establishment last night to watch some Boston Bruins playoff hockey. Yes, hockey. People looked at me like I had two heads, but it's true, and it's not only the Bruins, it's the Roadrunners, the local hockey team in the playoffs, in a tight battle right now, too. A win over Amarillo last night and a win tonight would put the Runners into the Robertson Cup Finals, which so happened to be in Topeka. The Runners own a 2-1 edge in the series thanks to this overtime victory last night. Emilio Betanzo arrived as a transfer student from Chile just in time for football season, but as a prominent rugby player in his homeland, Betanzo brought with him a unique kicking style.
They told me drop kicking it, and that day I practiced, I kick a field goal out of a tee, someone holding it, and I didn't do so well. And then I drop kick it, and I did it better. So they decided that we're going to drop kick everything.
He was a rugby player, so we knew he could kick. And then one day we were just talking around. He goes, well, why don't I just drop kick? I go, you can drop kick? Well, he went and kicked it, quite a ways.
And like that, Wabunsi had a new kicker, assuming they could get him dressed.
For the first practice, kicking practice, with a helmet, I couldn't see the ball, and it was really uncomfortable to play all the time.
So if it's up to you, you'd be kicking without your helmet?
Yeah, and without my pads.
Betanzo graciously gave me a lesson, and I quickly found out it wasn't so easy. Betanzo also plans to wrestle and play baseball and wants to make the most of his time here, drop kicking and all.
I always wanted to travel to America, and I just wanted the experience. I wanted to live here and see how it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I wasn't on the football team, I wouldn't have the same amount of friends I have now.
In Wabunsi, Matt Blanchett, 13 Sports. It's doubtful that 10 years from now, anyone who attended McLouth's homecoming game on Friday will remember the score or even who won, but there's little doubt that anyone will forget Trevor Roberts and the remarkable strength he showed in attending to accept his crown.
Your 2010 homecoming king and queen are Logan Terry and Trevor Roberts.
Not a tear in Trevor Roberts' eye as he accepts his homecoming crown, not in shoulder pads, but on crutches. Roberts, a senior on the McLouth football team, had just been released from the hospital hours earlier after having part of his leg amputated following complications during surgery on a compound fracture he had suffered during a game earlier in the season.
Mixed emotions, definitely, but I was just more glad to be back than anything. Real happy to be back home.
I just can't. I don't know the words to say to how he's reacted to this. I mean, it's just been incredible. So he's stronger than I am, that's for sure.
It was the first time Roberts was able to be with teammates since the surgery. They honored him with his number and initials on their arms. Despite his injury, Roberts' future is as bright as the lights in which he played on Friday nights.
He'll just keep pushing forward, and he will be something great someday. I mean, there's always a plan for everyone. You know that, and he is going to do something great.
He's looking forward in December being fitted for his prosthetic, and amazing things will happen, I can guarantee you, because nothing's going to hold him back.
And the community has rallied around Roberts, the school starting a fund to help him pay for his medical expenses.
Right now.
Now, I'll admit I was not here in 1998 when College Game Day was here, but this being a night game on a Thursday night, I think it has what it takes to rival that atmosphere. People are super pumped up about it, and I went through the parking lots, as I mentioned. Here's a little taste of what I saw. And of course, JB, Nebraska, no stranger to playing here. They played at Washington and won, and you know that's a tough environment. All time on Thursday nights in the Big 12, Nebraska also 5-0, all 5 of those games on the road. So things favoring Nebraska, but I'm sure it'll be nuts here tonight.